One of the difficulties of conversations is our own certainty, our own self-assurance. Because we have a paradigm that either you win the argument or you lose it. And we only give ground grudgingly. And if we sense something is going to lose us the battle, then we start throwing up red herrings, and we start throwing up every distraction we can from the line of reasoning which would debunk our argument. And so very little actually gets accomplished. What does get accomplished is just more arguments and division. As soon as you come down, this is the way it is, divisions begin happening. And yes, there's a possibility of swaying somebody to your position, but there's also the strong possibility of alienating others from you. So then the question becomes, what is the alternative? And why should we choose it? And what I would suggest is the alternative is the discovery of commonality as something that is common and only common, as opposed to the forceful pressuring of our own personal views into the commons, which is what argumentation does. It says, I believe this thing and you should too. And then, argument pressure, emotional pressure, leverage, that kind of thing. Whereas a commonality discussion is the discovery of what people already have in common, what they already agree with. And the innovation of how to get along better. So what this means is that there will be times when individuals are like, okay, we don't get along well. We have disagreements that are so deep that they do not seem to be overcomable. However, if this is the case, we value peace between us. So how can we achieve that? And then you have to innovate a set of rules or principles or common values which will allow both sides to get along. But the problem of the past is the record of, if you will, sins, of past harms, past difficulties, past pains, which have to be overcome. Now, one technique that does this beautifully, I think, is nonviolent communication. Marshall Rosenberg, I believe is his name. I was using this last night with my kids, which is not necessarily my first go-to. My first go-to is, unfortunately, getting angry, which is something I'm very much trying to overcome in me. And thus, I have to also overcome it in them because, they've grown up with me getting angry. Instead of me using nonviolent communication to draw out what is really bugging them. Because you'll see it all the time in people. They will blow up at something that seems minor, that doesn't really seem like an issue. And this is because there is a past list, if you will, a stack of grievances and concerns that have not been addressed. And a lot of these are not even conscious a lot of the time, so they have to be unearthed. They have to be dug up. So, in another way, of course, is just the practice of discovery. The practice of discovering values by discovering the values you have in common with the other person. you begin the process of humanizing the other person. Oh, you like that? Huh. I would never have realized that we had that in common. Oh, you like taking your kids to the park. Me too. Let's talk about that some more. And being interested in that, which of course means you have to overcome your own internal grievances, which means you have to value the value of connection, of unity, more than the value of your grievances, the value of your hurt in the divisions that were created by the certainty of the other person's actions. Because in the end, any action that causes harm, we can't do any action without certainty. That's the good side of certainty. There is nothing that is fully evil. It is how we use them. So I cannot go to work in the morning unless I am certain that that is the best choice for me. If I'm not certain, I'm not going to go to work. Granted, I may have a very poor... Hope this guy doesn't pull out and kill me. Okay. I have to be very certain that there is a value to my actions at work. Or else I'm going to go somewhere else. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. If I've decided, I'm just not going to go to work today, but I have no certainty as to how to take care of myself, well, that's a problem too, right? But if I'm certain that revenge and getting back at the other is my best course of action, well, I'm just going to continue the process of division. And why should you not? Why not have divisions? It's justified, right? Well, because a world can't keep dealing with this. It can't keep surviving from the divisions we force upon each other through our actions and beliefs. And so it's vital that people have personal beliefs, right? Because that's their core, that's their center. That's how they make sense of the world. But if we can respect each other's personal beliefs by respecting the commons, by developing the commons, not forcing anything into it, then I believe we can start forging unity in a world that much needs it. Hey, that was a snappy end, wasn't it? All right, thanks for your time.